welcome to 6B's performance of a medieval festival. We are thrilled to present this performance to you today. They've been working so hard for the past few months on their acting, on their dancing, on their singing. And also there is a nod to English class throughout the show and the poetry that we've been learning in class that they have written themselves. So you'll be able to see that as well. They're a little bit nervous, so if we can give them all of our applause and good energy. I told them it is a recipe for success having such a supportive audience out here. So without further ado, here is 6B.
Greetings, lords, ladies, and peasants, and welcome to the Medieval Festival. Our class has worked beyond hard to put together the best show possible for you to watch. Today you will be going back to medieval times to witness three great tales. A Knight's Tale, Maid Marian, and St. Georgie and the Dragon. In between, you will also enjoy a selection of medieval-inspired poetry written by some of the finest poets you've ever heard. Spoiler alert, the poets are my classmates. Anyway, I better get on with it. The first skit you will enjoy is A Knight's Tale, where a famous duke named Theseus captures two very jealous cousins who are obsessed with Duke Theseus' daughter, the lovely Lady Emily, and want to claim her as their wife. But Lady Emily has a very different idea of where she sees her life going. Getting married off is not high on her list of priorities, and she definitely does not want to marry either of those weirdos. And then there is a deadly joust, but I won't tell you everything. Don't want to give away any more spoilers. Anyway, enjoy our show. Farewell for now.
A long time ago, there was a big war against an evil duke named Theseus. There were two brave cousins, Arcite and Palamon, who fought alongside one another. Unfortunately, Arcite and Palamon were quickly defeated. Duke Theseus captured them and brought them back to his dungeon, where they shared a tiny cell with one very tiny window.
Always the same view from the shrunken window. Never anything but flowers and garden servants.
At least you have something to look at. Give me the stool. It's my turn.
You always say that. Give me a little bit longer.
You're such a greedy person. You've had it for hours now. There's nothing for me to do, think, or look at.
Oh my, I spot a lady, a beautiful lady. I wonder who she is.
It was Lady Emily picking flowers in the palace garden.
What a beautiful day. What a beautiful garden. Don't I look beautiful in it?
Although Palamon had just seen her, he immediately fell in love with her.
Do you believe in love at first sight, cousin?
I believed in a lot of things before we get locked in this horrible town.
Well, you should change your mind now, because I have fallen madly in love with the lady I see before me. She can't possibly be real. She must be an angel.
Calm down, wise guy. Let me see.
How lovely these flowers are. Well, not as beautiful as me, but nice enough.
OMG! She's the love of my life. I've never seen a more beautiful lady in all of my travels.
Are you making eyes at my true love? How dare you?
How? Your love? She's my love.
No way! I already called dibs.
But I love her most. She's mine to have, not yours.
Are you mocking my very existence by claiming my future wife as your own?
How is this about you and your existence?
Their arguing became louder and louder until John the jailer couldn't help but check on them.
What's with all this yelling? I finally managed to sit down and watch the latest episode of The Voice Medieval Edition, and I couldn't even hear the contestants finish Greensleeves. Honestly, whenever I get families in the same cells, it's always a problem. What's this coral of yours about anyway? Her! Ha 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 ha! Too bad for you. She's the daughter of Duke Theseus, the lovely Lady Emily. Like either of you could ever have a chance with her.
Well, that's kind of rude.
Just being honest.
Well, I'm still never speaking to you again, you piece of sheep's horn.
Good. I wish you went away and never came back.
Well then, your wish is my command, Palamon. Sir Arcite, you are free. Someone in Athens has won your freedom.
Yes! Wait! No!
Ha ha ha, she'll be mine after after all.
Sir Arcite, you must leave by sunset. You are forbidden to come back to this castle.
So Arcite left the castle, but not for long. He devised a plan to get close to Lady Emily again. He came back in disguise and became Lady Emily's servant. He could take water from her lips, touch what she touched, and sour where she sat. Creepy.
How I've been so lucky to breathe the same air as the lovely Lady Emily. If only Palamon were here, he'd see how close I am to getting her. He'd be so jealous.
Arcite,
Oh, as she calls her name so sweetly.
Arcite,
My beauteous little bird.
I told you to clean out my workshop, to reach for my crossbow, and to stop commenting on how I look. But you haven't done a single thing I've asked. Worst servant ever.
My beauteous little bird. I can make it up to you.
Stop calling me that.
Meanwhile, Palamon sat in his jail cell longing to get out and be with Emily.
I have to get out, but how can I ever escape?
Okay, Palamon, it's time for me to call it night. Let's check my to-do list. Clean the cell, check. Serve the prisoners dinner, check. Yep, that should be everything. Good night.
Good night.
Oh wait, I almost forgot something on my list. Perhaps you'd like me to sing you a lullaby.
Oh, I think I'm okay.
Probably best. I'm recovering from smallpox.
John the jailer did not, in fact, remember to check off everything from his list. He had actually forgotten something very important.
OMG, he didn't lock the door. Now I can go find Emily and we can wed and live happily ever after.
Palamon ran out of the jail and into the darkness of night. Meanwhile, things were not going so well for Arcite.
I have to get away from all this work. Even though Lady Emily's beautiful face motivates me, I don't like being bossed around. She's kind of intense.
Well, maybe if you actually did what I asked you to do, instead of spending all your time writing me love notes, you won't be so miserable. Ever think about that?
So astute, my beauteous little bird.
I'm done with you. Don't follow me.
Once Emily was asleep, a dejected Arcite snuck away to lift his spirits and come up with a new tactic to woo Emily. He headed deep into the forest, away from the castle. As he ran through the darkness, he suddenly heard a rustle in the bushes. Guess who?
Arcite, what are you doing here?
What do you mean? What are you doing here? Are you sneaking into the woods to steal my Emily?
Why would I need to steal Emily if she's already mine?
You fuck beetle! You quiz me!
They were so distracted by fighting that they didn't notice Duke Theseus and Lady Emily coming towards their clearing on their nightly quail hunt.
Well, what have we here? Seems like Emily's servant and escaped prisoner busted again. Now before I throw you back in jail, what is this quail about anyways?
Emily is mine.
You're delusional.
See, she doesn't like you. Emily's mine.
I don't belong to either one of you.
You two are fighting like little boys. Want to solve this problem? Fight like men on my dressing tournament. The winner gets Emily. The only condition is the other ones die.
You're joking, right? I won't really have to marry one of them, will I?
Emily, if you marry him, you will suffer. But if you marry me, you will live in a paradise.
I thought you were my servant.
Emily, if you marry him, you will suffer. Believe me, I've lived with him all the days of my life. He's almost as bad as the devil.
And who are you?
Enough. My dressing tournament. The penalty of your absence is death.
The next day, the jousting venue was full of townsfolk waiting to see the great battle over the lovely Lady Emily.
Welcome, lords and ladies, peasants and other peasants, to a jousting match where the two competitors will fight to the death to win Lady Emily's hand in marriage.
I didn't agree to this.
Let the games begin.
The knights mount their horses and they're off. Arcite is getting to a fast start with lots of power, but Palamon seems to be getting very fast too. Ooh, they missed.
My goodness, maybe I just should have made them play rock, scissors, paper.
Let's try that again. They are charging at each other. Palamon lunges forward with his lance. Ooh, Arcite's lance drops to the ground. Looks like he's going to have to use his mace.
You're a goner, you pig!
Oh yeah, I thought you were the pig.
Now there's some action.
And now they are galloping towards each other again. Arcite is ready with his sword, and Palamon is holding up his lance in defense, and yikes, Arcite rolls straight into it! Palamon wins!
Finally, a decently good stab.
The cheers of the crowd went by as Arcite fell off his horse and onto the ground.
Pleasant, sweet Emily.
My friend, I didn't mean to. I was so wrapped up in my love for Emily.
Nice job, Arcite.
It's Palamon.
Yes, yes. Well, you have fought bravely. Come now, you two shall be married on the morrow.
Do I have to? His hair is thin and his mouth looks odd.
Emily, dear, you should be honored.
Honored? I think you mean terrified. Dad, don't make me do this.
Come, our son, you shall live in the manor with me and my noble family. We will be the best family ever.
It's still Palamon.
So Palamon took Emily's hand,
Ew, you smell like rotten eggs.
and they looked nicer.
Hooray!
It all started at a young age. My first day as a page. Met my horse, learned how to ride. Learned lots with friends at my side. Be a page, it's the first stage before you become a knight. Oh well, oh well, oh well, oh. Tell me more, did you learn how to fight? Tell me more, first we learn how to write. As a squire, there's lots to do. Scrubbing armor till it's shiny and new. Watching battle, and if someone falls, I'll be there to answer the call. It's required to be a squire before you become a knight. Oh well, oh well, oh well, Tell me more, did you learn how to fight? Tell me more, first we learn how to write. Fighting battles, hours had passed. Years of training paid off at last. I think back to how it began. Before I had a sword in my hand. You can see we've got chivalry now that we've become knights. Tell me more, tell me more.
Hi, I'm Eden, and this is Harper. And as promised, we're going to share some highly anticipated medieval-inspired poetry for you, based on the skit you just watched, A Knight's Tale. Every poem tells a story and has its own unique perspective. This means that the poem is told from a specific point of view that expresses the speaker's experience. This colors the way the audience sees the story, influencing our interpretations. The same story can be remarkably different when told from another point of view. For instance, a story of a joust told by the winner versus the same story told by the loser. Here's my poem called Dreams of Jousting. From the height that I've risen, seems hard to believe that I started out here in the stables of Cleve. Parted from family, I was a bit teary. Arrived at the gates, hungry and weary. With no future planned, what would I do? Spend the rest of my days cleaning horse poo? But these majestic beasts called out my name, compulsively drawn like a moth to a flame, quickly entrenched in this equine biome until it became my only true home. I grew with the pages, seeking to learn, desire for my knighthood, in my heart it did burn. Not even a squire, my prospects were bad. I tried not to let the doubt make me sad. Dreams of glory ran through my head, the roar of the crowd I could hear in my bed. Envisioning triumph in all of its forms, brought with it the thought of shattering norms. Can one poor as I ever be such a man, arise from the ash to transcend his clan? Despite the worst odds, I made my way there, Tournament of Champions, how would I fare? The day of the joust was here at last. Made my way to the horse with our stable mast. All ready for joust, a most tempting lure. I mounted the steed, with saddle secure. The stench of sweat, it filled the place. It stung my eyes and it poured down my face. Arms raised high to lift up each lance. Horses surged ahead in a deadly dance. The dust kicked up in pursuit of our glory, hoping to find the best end to this story. On the first advance, no contact is made. To urge more action, Sir Carson throws shade. On the second assault, Arcite's lance drops away. He grabs for his sword, but it's not his day. He's skewered by a lance, his time at an end. Away from its mount, his course does descend. Arcite's the winner. No, it's Palomar. The prize is won, but to me it's a con. Don't you see that neither knight is me? My dream of knighthood can never be. And for my shattered dreams, I cry. Alas, I'm only a simple horsefly.
My poem is called A Joust. Can you tell who the speaker is in this poem? The excitement was visible among the crowd, with jeering and flags. They galloped towards each other, lances in hand. Sleek chainmail armor covers their steeds. They strike each other onto the dusty sandy pit below. One stands, but the other doesn't. Crimson blood streaks the floor as one knight collapses. "Cousin," he says. An ash-white face stares across the pit, unseeing but always looking. Yet the crowd doesn't feel the sorrow, the loss, or the pain. Instead, they find joy in this cruel sport, this joust.
Wow, who knew he had such brilliant poets and ermines? I can just picture the joust now. Poor Palamon, and long live the newly wedded Arcite and Lady Emily. Now, back to the action. We're moving on to our second skit, a wonderful tale called Maid Marian. This tale is about Maid Marian, a young noble girl with a good heart, who meets the outlaw, Robin Hood, fighting for the poor. Their story starts with them meeting at the Gamble Festival. While King Richard is away, his corrupt brother, Prince John, and his loyal, troublesome servants, Sir Guy and the Sheriff, play the bad guys. They try to catch Robin Hood and Maid Marian, who steal from Prince John and the rich to give to the poor. Maid Marian and Robin Hood are much too smart for their enemy, and they easily fool them every time, escaping to Sherwood Forest. They also prove to be much better fighters. Maid Marian is the daughter of the wealthy Lord Fitzwalter, but she joins Robin Hood's mission to help the poor. Her father wants her to be an obedient girl who does not go against the wishes of his lord, Prince John, but she has different ideas. In the end, will Prince John capture the outlaws, or will Maid Marian and Robin Hood win and share wealth amongst the poor? Stay tuned to find out who wins.
Once upon a medieval time, there lived an outlaw named Maid Marian. You might know about Robin Hood, but do you know the woman behind all his success? Maid Marian was no ordinary outlaw. She stole from the rich, which in this case was also the powerful Sheriff of Nottingham and the corrupt Prince John, and others like Sir Guy. Oh look, there she is now, at the annual Gamble Festival, and Robin Hood has joined her. The plot thickens. We leave you to watch the story unfold.
'Tis a fine day to join in song and dance in the forest.
Indeed, I love the Merry Festival.
Look at all the crowds. I'd say it's the best festival we've ever had.
She looks oddly familiar, and so does that shepherdess over there, to be honest.
Right you are, Sir Guy, but with those hoods on, I just don't recognize them.
Ready, aim, fire. Bullseye, bow down, bow down.
Wow, who's that young woman? How is she so good at archery? Wait a minute. She looks a lot like Lord Fitzwalter's daughter, Marian.
Don't be daft. If that was Maid Marian, we would know.
I've heard her name's Clorinda, just a lowly shepherdess who often tends these feasts. I don't know much about her.
Very impressive, ladies. Let's see if you're a match for me.
Bullseye again. Oh yeah. Seems like a tie.
It does seem that way. And as a reward for your skill, I claim your hand.
My prize is having you claim my hand. I hear that you are Robin Hood of the Sherwood Forest. Well, I am Maid Marian, and we must run for it.
Robin Hood? Maid Marian? Quickly! You learned I told you it was Maid Marian!
I think we lost them.
I love a good chase scene.
There they are. Get them, you fools!
Run!
Man, I really gotta work on my cardio.
Me too. I think I tore a hamstring.
You must come to my class. Prince John's Chasten Shape. I'm going to title myself. Then maybe we'd have a better chance at catching these guys.
I'm busy.
Me too. I never told you what it was.
Unable to catch our heroes, Sir Guy of Gisborne, Sheriff of Nottingham, and the terrible Prince John.
Excuse me?
I mean Prince John, fitness entrepreneur.
Thank you. Continue.
Unable to catch our heroes, Sir Guy of Gisborne, Sheriff of Nottingham, and the fitness entrepreneur Prince John go to interrogate Lord Fitzwalter, Marian's father.
Lord Fitzwalter, come out immediately!
What is all this racket? Who are you all?
Who am I? Who am I? How dare you?
You complete fool. This is Prince John, who rules in King Richard's stead, and I, the Sheriff of Nottingham, his loyal servant.
Don't you mean Rottingham? Because, instead of Nottingham, I changed it to.
What? I don't get it.
Whatever. Prince John, isn't Richard our king?
Silence. My brother is currently away, and I get to run things my way. We are looking for the putrid outlaw Robin Hood. Do you know where he is? Last we saw, he was with your daughter.
My daughter? Marian? Nay, sir. She's been upstairs weaving tapestries with her lady-in-waiting, and now she's asleep. Please do not disturb her. Your Excellency, perhaps we should spend this time looking for Robin Hood instead of waking silly maidens.
All right, kids, let's ride.
Honestly, that daughter of mine, Marian, if I found out you snuck out again, you'll be grounded for life.
As Prince John, the Sheriff, and Sir Guy take off into Sherwood Forest, they come across Robin Hood and Maid Marian in disguise. Sir Guy, the Sheriff, and Prince John are not very observant, not recognizing the famous merrymakers simply because they're wearing hoods that only slightly cover their faces.
Out of the way, peasants. We are looking for Robin Hood.
You forgot to announce my presence.
Oh, right, sorry. I present to you His Most Honorable Majesty, the all-powerful Prince John.
Don't you mean His Most Honorable Tyrant, the petulant Prince John?
Now you shut your mouth and you're speaking to me!
Hey, Marian, move out of the way. You're in traitorous company. Come with us.
No.
Marian, get behind me. I'll protect you.
I can protect myself. Thank you very much.
We are not leaving without Robin Hood in our possession.
Step any farther, and I will shoot you.
Well, doctor, do you think I'm scared of a little girl? Ouch, why, you little...
Treachery! Charge!
And then a battle of great proportions broke out, sending swords into the air and blood on the ground.
Come on, guys, let's run for it.
Retreat! Retreat!
When Marian returned home that evening, she found her father standing by the door waiting for her.
Marian, what are you doing here? Where have you been? I thought you were upstairs.
Oops, I'm not sure how to tell you this.
At that moment, there was a furious knock at their door.
The Sheriff of Nottingham, here with the King's men. Maid Marian, we'd like to have a word with you.
I'll explain everything if you send them away.
Lord Fitzwalter, we'd like to have a word with you.
Where's your fearless leader? None of your beeswax.
The real question is, where is your daughter? She is gravely injured after she shot Sir Guy with her arrow.
What? Marian? My daughter would never do such a thing.
Really? Well, perhaps you should take you to the prince and you'll have to deal with him yourself.
We're not in a Western movie.
I'm watching you.
Oh, I'm so scared. I want the truth. Did you battle the king's men?
I'm sorry, Father, I did.
Marion, what am I to do with you? Perhaps I should put you high in the tower to keep you safe.
I'd like to see you try. Even if you lock me up, I will sneak out of my window and run away to Sherwood Forest. Robin Hood and his men will protect me there.
Robin Hood, what is this news? I can hear Prince John coming. Listen carefully.
So Lord Fitzwalter and Marion devised a plan just as Prince John rode up to the castle.
That's it, young lady. You're grounded. Go to your room.
I would like to know why you sent my sheriff away.
Please pardon me, Prince John. I had mistaken your men as evil people working for the evil Robin Hood, trying to gain entry into my castle.
Where is your daughter? She should be hanged after what she did.
I sent her to her room because she was at the festival so late. Marion? Huh? Where is she?
My lord!
Look what I have just discovered. The window is wide open. She must have escaped.
Gone? My little girl? How could she betray me like this?
Have no fear. Robin Hood won't win this time. Let's ride.
Lord Fitzwalter had stalled the king's men long enough that Maid Marian made it back to Sherwood Forest in her disguise. But before she could find Robin Hood, she was intercepted by a passing stranger.
Who are you?
I go about my own business, so mind your own.
Tell me your name and business here. Otherwise, we shall fight.
Fine, let's fight.
Robin Hood soon found his antagonist was as strong as him in swordsmanship.
How in the world are you as good as me?
Wait, Robin Hood? Is that you?
Marion, what are you doing here?
The king's men are after me, so I fled.
Well then, you shall live with us for the rest of your days.
As Robin Hood took Marian's hand and led her to his home, Prince John, the Sheriff of Nottingham, and Sir Guy accepted their bitter defeat, acknowledging that Robin Hood and Maid Marian were just more clever, smart, talented, skilled, athletic, well-liked.
You really know how to rub salt in the wound, huh?
Hey, I'm just reading what they told me to.
Excuse me, this is my moment.
And mine. The play is literally named after me.
All right, where was I? There was feasting and dancing that night, and Robin Hood toasted to his new queen.
Let us toast first to King Richard and his queen.
And let us toast to the king and queen of Sherwood, Robin Hood and Maid Marian.
Congratulations.
Seriously?
And they all lived happily ever after, except Prince John.
Huzzah!
poetry reading. I'm Salula and this is Alana, and we will be sharing our medieval-inspired poetry based on the previous skit, Maid Marian. In our poems, we will be focusing on the difference between similes and metaphors, and literal language versus figurative language. First, a simile is the comparison of two unlike things using the terms like or as, while a metaphor is the comparison of two unlike things without using like or as. Next is literal language, when someone means what they say, while figurative language is when something has words or phrases that have meaning but are not literally true. Whether you want it to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, or you want it to be a partial figurative explanation, or lastly you want it to compare something to something. These tools help a writer bring their work to life, because whatever the situation, these are great tools to have in your writing tool belt. And without further ado, this is my poem entitled Maid Marian, the Strong Woman in Her. What a brave, strong woman, aim like an archer fish, as precise as an eagle. She is a triumphant horse after winning first place, the fastest, best one in the race. A superhero in her own way, a role model. Be like her, for you too can have aim like a cat, be as precise as a hawk. Don't give up, for she is as confident as a lion, but just as beautiful and poised as a peacock. Thank you.
My poem is called Maid Marian. Look out for similes and metaphors in my poem too. The archer's arrow flung straight and true, directly towards the target's bow. The companion of her arrow flung parallel, taking him to his knee for her hand and heart. The companions declared wrong by the corruption of his majesty's gone. Escaping to the woods, the companions did run, chased by the prosperous, in the prosperous fields they did battle long. Once again did their arrows soar, leaving the corrupted to retreat back. Threatened again in her very home, Sherwood Forest becomes her new home. Through feasting and dancing they danced merrily, while his majesty and henchmen were left warily.
This on myself. Oh, wait a minute. Where are my manners? Greetings, my fellow audience. Yes, I know you're tired from watching all of these plays. However, this is the last one, and in the medieval festival, honoring the medieval times, we always save the best for last. The final show, St. Georgie and the Dragon, will feature the fiercest dragon and most powerful saint in medieval history. However, let me introduce you to some of the other characters first. The Leopolds. Leopold II and Leopold III. The worst knights ever. Unintelligent and proud, these two want to win the princess's hand in marriage. Speaking of the princess, next is Princess Celine and her mother, Queen Regina. They love each other very much and have quite bubbly personalities. I'm sorry if this is a bit too fast for you, my dear audience, but we must summarize the best story of the show. Don't tell the others I said that. The best we can. Lastly is Diana the Dragon and St. George E., not George. And as a heads up, Diana, longing for someone to understand her, will reveal a big secret in this play. Alright, no more spoilers. Enjoy the show.
Long ago, before New York City was crowded with skyscrapers, a fierce dragon ruled in the sky over the ancient village known as Manhattanopolis. The dragon lived in a nearby cave, preying on maidens and bachelors alike for a sweet midnight snack. But the dragon had her eye on the princess, the sweetest snack of all. Ha! 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 Not what you were expecting, right? This princess was no damsel in distress. She was actually quite the sword-woman. Quite the plot twist for a medieval miracle play. I know, but I'd like to remind you that this is a miracle play. Anything can happen. Let's get back to the story.
You ran off without your cloak.
Thanks, Mom.
You can catch the death of winter in this weather, and we can't have that because I need a strong woman to run the kingdom after.
Oh, Mother, don't talk like that. We'll have many more years together.
God willing, be sure to be home by sundown. We're having veal for dinner.
The princess and the queen went their separate ways. Later that night, as Celine headed home, she heard a dreadful scream that echoed throughout the village. There had been a snatching.
No! Mother!
The fiery dragon had snatched the queen in her giant claws.
I'm gonna find you, and I'm gonna bring you home. It's the last thing I do.
The princess called upon two of the most famous knights in the kingdom, Leopold III and Leopold II, right hands of the late king, who were determined to be the heroes of the village. The only problem is they were not too bright or clever, and they didn't know how to work together.
So I think our best plan of action is...
Whoa. I'm going to stop you right there. This is not a job for a princess. You have tapestry weaving to do.
Excuse me?
I, Leopold III, on the honor of my father Leopold and my grandfather Leopold that came before him, I shall rescue the queen, and as my reward, join your hand in marriage.
That is not going to happen.
The princess is right.
Finally, someone with a brain!
I, Leopold II, am going to kill the dragon, and I will go down in history as the hero of our village of Manhattanopolis, and I will win your hand in marriage.
Oh boy.
Now if I get to the dragon first, you won't.
I challenge you to a duel.
I accept this challenge. We'll fight to the death.
Well, ma'am, don't you think that's a little extreme?
Well, what do you suggest? How are we supposed to know who's about to fight him without fighting to the death?
That's a really good point.
While they ponder on that, I'm going to keep our story moving. There was another soldier that in the town of Manhattanopolis was only known by legend. Her name was St. George. Georgie for short. Okay, yes, I know what you're thinking. Wasn't it St. George who's a famous Christian soldier in the Roman army who was a patron saint of knights, soldiers, fencers, and archers, patron saint of many captured by the dragon with the whole town agreed to be baptized, not St. Georgie? Woo! Well, who knew we had so many experts in the medieval theological studies in this room? I'm taking some liberties, but I'm the narrator, and that comes with the job title. For this play, it's Georgie, not George. Stay with me, folks. Ooh, look, there she is now, the saint and legend herself.
I heard Princess Celine requested my services. Hello, I'm talking to you.
Me? You can see me?
Of course I can.
But I'm the narrator. The characters in a play can't see the narrator. It's part of the rules.
Well, I'm a saint, which means I have a close relationship with God. And with God, all things are possible.
Touché. And so, the princess greeted St. Georgie at the farthest gates of the town, as to not stir up too much emotion within the townsfolk. Let me put this in different terms to connect your modern-day plugins. St. Georgie is your Taylor Swift. Imagine if Taylor Swift walked straight through those doors right now. You understand. Let's continue.
I can't believe you actually came.
You don't have to bow to me.
You're not who I expected.
I get it all the time. It's Georgie, not George. That's when you get when women aren't taught to read right. The majority of medieval protagonists end up being lords and, bachelors.
My mother taught me to read and write, actually.
Good on her. So, this is Manhattanopolis, huh? I've only read about this place in manuscripts. Is it true that you used to sacrifice villagers to the dragon in exchange for keeping the city safe?
My father was, intense.
Yikes.
So I've got a plan. You see that mountaintop way up in the distance?
You there! Who goes there?
Seriously? Leopold III? What are you doing here, and why are you injured?
I have come to rescue the queen from the clutches of the evil dragon, the very symbol of the devil himself.
Leopold III, where's Leopold II?
Leo who?
You didn't!
They fought to death, didn't they?
Knights. Leopold III, I'll deal with you later. Right now we need to focus on rescuing my mom. So you see, after we climb up the side of the mountain...
Whoa, not we! This is a job for a brave, strong, and daring knight. Only one can win your hand in marriage.
Leopold, no one is fighting for my hand in marriage or winning anything. I'm not an object. I'm a princess.
Preach.
But I proved I was the better knight. I fought to the death.
No one asked you to do that.
It was completely unnecessary.
Leopold, if you want to help us save the queen, then that's your choice. But if you're going to take all the glory to yourself, then you better win elsewhere. This isn't a competition.
You're working with us as a team, or you're out.
Choice is yours.
Fine. But I get to carry the flag.
Works with me.
So, Princess Celine, St. Georgie, and Leopold III began their ascent up the treacherous mountainside and across the snarling river.
So, little disclaimer, I didn't mention this before, but in order for me to help save your mom, you both need to promise that you're going to be baptized as Christians and stop living as, pagans.
Okay, deal. Okay, what sort of commitments are we looking at here? Because I'm a pretty busy guy, you know. Rescuing maidens, fighting to the death. Convert sounds awesome.
We have to make sure we're a united front. I've heard the dragon scales can shatter spears.
And I've heard that the fire the dragon breathes is so hot that it can make the largest elephant turn into ashes.
And I heard that the dragon eats 10,000 pounds of meat a day to survive. And they drink the blood of his victims like water.
We're gonna need God on our side for this one.
3 hours later, they had finally made it to the top. Yes, I know, they just walked in a big circle, but suspension of disbelief, people, this is the theater.
My God's bones, my hip hurts.
Sorry, I know, he's a new Christian. Leopold, watch your language.
Sorry.
Not to me.
Sorry.
Shh, we're almost there. Wait, I heard something.
It's the dragon!
Quiet, we're only gonna get one shot at this. Draw your swords.
That has to be the least intimidating dragon I have ever seen in my entire life.
Sorry, indigestion. Always happens when my food is just a little too spicy.
Well, this is anticlimactic.
Where is the queen and what have you done with her?
The queen? Don't play dumb, we know what you did.
Ah, you mean Regina. She's making dinner.
You fiend! Don't shoot me, G! Is your dinner?
Ew, no, human flesh? That's disgusting. I'm vegetarian.
Liar, we know that you breathe scorching fire, eat 10,000 pounds of meat a day, and drink the blood of your victims.
Do I look like a Dracula to you?
How do you address the rumors then?
That they're rumors. Hello?
My daughter. Get behind me, my queen! Leopold, please, I'm completely fine. Diana isn't going to hurt me. I'm completely intact. Look, no blood, no wounds. Diana.
Told you.
Diana, tell them the truth.
I can't.
Tell us, you fiend!
Leopold, give it a rest!
Yes, you can, just what you told me.
It's embarrassing. Okay, it's true that I snatched Regina from your village.
I knew it, you fiend!
Leopold, God's my witness. You let her let the dragon say what she needs to say.
The only reason I brought the queen out here was because I'm lonely. I have no friends within 7,000 miles and no one ever comes to visit. And I thought by snatching the queen specifically, you'd finally pay attention to me and that we could talk.
Go on.
Those nasty rumors began about 50 years ago with the great-great-grandfather of our late king. I used to visit Manhattanopolis all the time, but then the king banished me and started these nasty rumors to make sure I stayed away. And I just got fed up. I'm sorry.
She's telling the truth.
I know what it's like to feel like you're not good enough, and then feel like you always have to prove it to someone else. You are good enough, Diana, dragon!
You know, it's not every day that people from two different sides of the mountain will venture to new land, cross the treacherous border of the snarling river, just to find we have no reason to fear each other. By the grace of God, it's a miracle!
And so their hearts grew 3 sizes that day. Anyone get the Grinch reference? Anyone? No, come on, guys, that was clever. Okay. Well, the crew made the descent down the mountainside, this time with the dragon. And they lived happily ever after, by the grace of God.
By the grace of God!
Well, wasn't that a treat, if I do say so myself? Now, to our last poetry portion of the show, dedicated to the tale of St. George and the Dragon. In England and during the medieval period, poets transitioned from using alliteration to using more rhyme. Alliteration is the repetition of consonant sounds. So, for example, balancing on breaking branches from Taylor Swift's song Exile would be a perfect representation of alliteration because of its consonant sound of beat. Rhyme is even more common nowadays, meaning to have or to end with a sound that corresponds to or sounds like another. With that in mind, I would like to present you my poem about a dragon called The Dragon's Tale. In a land in England long ago, there lived a dragon with wings of gold. She had eyes shimmering like the moonlit night and a fire that burned like an incandescent light. Her roar was like a thunder crying out in the morning summer. She lived amongst mountains big and tall, soaring through and above them all. Deep down beneath her scales lied a heart of affection beneath a hidden trail. Even though she breathed scorching fire and called out loud, she would never hurt an innocent crowd.
My poem
on the dragon also contains alliteration and rhyme scheme. See if you can notice my use of this figurative language. The fearsome creature rose to the air. With that, everyone started to glare. My gaze fell upon the scales, a frightening animal with sharp nails. How could this animal exist? My stomach started to twist. Fiery breath, I almost fell to near death. In my hand, the sword shook. My fear could be read just like a book. The life would be stolen, I started to say. I would slay the dragon. There was no other way. My heart was pounding, looking up. The dragon roared. It did not sound like a friendly pup. This slithery beast was surely ready for a feast. The huge serpent stole the night. Was I hiding in plain sight? This mythical creature was hard to describe. It made me open my mouth oh so wide. I knew I would fail these poor families, for this dragon is bigger than galaxies.
Keep your eyes
wonderful cast of characters. Part of it is the costume. Part of it is how well you did all the things that you've been practicing for such a long time. I am loving the look of all of this up here. We'll make sure when I'm done saying thank yous that everyone has a chance to take a photo of their medieval child. How was the show? What do you think? Did you have? You seemed like you were having a great time up there, which I really love to see. It can be very nerve-wracking to put yourself forward in this way, but I didn't sense a lot of nerves. I know Miss Joyce said you were a little nervous. I didn't see it at all. You pulled it off very well. So this show is exciting for me because it's the first time our upper mid students perform in this way. We have a couple other shows that students will be doing in future English classes in the upper mid. So we start studying Shakespeare in 7th grade. So you'll come back in about a year and they'll be reciting lines from A Midsummer Night's Dream. You'll enjoy that very much. And then in 8th grade, we do a pretty cool collaboration with St. David's Boys when both schools study Romeo and Juliet. So you can look forward to that as well. So anyway, so my thank yous have to do with your teachers who've been working so hard with you. I would like to thank Miss Gleason who choreographed those cool dance numbers. Thank you so much. Miss Knows It, sitting in the back, helped work with all the singers. I thought you guys sounded terrific. And then we have our directors. We have Miss Joyce, Miss Hamilton, Miss So the students have a speech class once a cycle, and so they've been practicing in that setting. They also have English, so some of English classes were taken to work on the show as well. I have to tell you that it's so lovely to eavesdrop a little bit on the rehearsals that the kids are doing, and you can see how these really special educators are drawing out of each child the best version of the script. And speaking of the script, this is very special. I want all of you to know that Miss Joyce actually wrote that last scene, and this is the first year that we've ever used that script. So thank you, Miss Joyce, for adding that. She really knows how to write in the voices of the students and make sure they have fun with what they're doing. Okay, so who else do I want to thank? Is Miss Kidd here? I'm not sure if she is. She's our performing arts director. She plays a hand in these shows as well. I want to thank our really excellent musicians who added so much to the show. Professional lights and sound and costumes and photographer and videographer, so we really do it up well. And just imagine next year when we are in our theater in the new space, and this is going to be you'll have even more room to dance and sing there. Mrs. Alvar is in the back as well, laughing at all the jokes. I think that's about everything I wanted to say. I'm just so proud of you. I know a lot is leading up to this, rehearsals and making sure you got your kids here to this campus this morning. Thank you for everything that you did to make this possible.